I don't know about you, but I've been a fan of the Family Guy franchise for over 20 years. It's got its ups, it's got its downs. But for the most part, I've always loved how Seth has approached it, and I've always enjoyed the irreverent, over-the-top humor. But now apparently Seth is finally kind of hitting his breaking point. And it says here that Tucker Carlson annoys Seth MacFarlane so much that he's considering taking Family Guy off of Fox.
Oh my God, Family Guy might actually end. That'd be awesome. Wait, they're not even owned by the same company anymore?
They're not owned by the same company, actually. I had to look this up. I had to figure. So Fuzzy Door Productions, or Fuzzy Door Studios, is the company that Seth runs, that oversees Family Guy, American Dad, the Cleveland show when it was on, and whatever else they do. And but they have a deal. They have a deal with Fox Broadcasting Company to distribute the Family Guy show. Mm-hmm. And remember, American Dad was on Fox until they took it off, and
it's on
TBS.
Now.
Yeah, TBS picked it up, and they're in like their 17th or 18th season, which is super fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah, and the show is still going strong. It's still going really strong. But Seth here also has signed another deal with NBC, and that's something that he's kind of hinting at here. So it says here that Family Guy creator Seth MacFarlane said he's getting so fed up with Fox News' star host Tucker Carlson that he's toying with moving his animated adult comedy show to another network. MacFarlane said that Carlson's antics on Fox News has him rethinking Fox Broadcasting Company as the home for Family Guy and his other animated sitcom American Dad, where, well, that's not actually accurate because American Dad is off there. Yeah. Although it's not the same division as Fox News, it is under the same corporate umbrella. So you might be thinking to yourself, wait a minute here, hold on. Didn't Disney purchase Fox a couple of years ago? Didn't Disney end up getting their hands on Fox Television? Well, they got Fox Television, but they didn't get Fox Broadcasting Company.
That's movies and news and sports, right?
No, that's Fox News. Yeah, but that's in sports as well.
Okay.
And so ultimately, Fox Corporation, which is a subsidiary of News Corp, still owns Fox Broadcasting. So the deals that like Disney has to put The Simpsons on the air on Fox is something they work out still with Fox Broadcasting.
Oh, okay.
And so now, it wouldn't be difficult, I think, for Family Guy to move to another network like FXX, because that is owned by Disney, or perhaps even maybe NBC, although that would be a bad idea because they'd probably cancel it.
Matt, it's time, Matt. Like
it's time. Is it time to let Stewie finally go? To let Stewie grow up and take over the world?
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. Like it's time. I love Seth MacFarlane. Hate what Family Guy's become. That's what it boils down to for me. I think Seth MacFarlane's really talented. I think he's awesome. Like he reps fucking New England. How can I fucking hate the guy? But like Family Guy has just gone way too downhill. I used to love that show, and it used to like be really good at balancing both comedy and like the family dynamic. But now it's just a pure comedy show. They don't give a fuck about the characters. I don't know. I don't like that. I feel like the show's been too bastardized. It's really shameful, honestly.
Well, I think Seth himself is ready for it to die, but it's also very similar to The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Fox is not ready for it to die. The Simpsons, as much as I love The Simpsons, should have been taken out to pasture and like beaten with a stick a long time ago.
The Simpsons deserved to go out with dignity. It deserved that. It really did.
So at this point, are you trying to say that it's kind of turned into like a dementia patient, and it's just slowly dying?
Probably. Sad but true, man.
Sad but true,
sad
yeah.
But true, yeah.
But anyway, well, here's what Seth MacFarlane did say on Twitter. Tucker Carlson's latest opinion piece once again makes me wish Family Guy was on any other network. Look, Fox, we both know this marriage isn't working anymore. And then he says, the sex is only once a year. I don't get along with your mother. And well, I've been having an affair with NBC. and that is actually true. A year and a half ago, Seth MacFarlane left Fox after 21 years for a $200 million deal with NBCU. I mean, this is the thing. He's already bailed out. He left a year and a half ago. And I'm pretty sure that NBC or Peacock or something would probably want to try to get their hands on it to some extent.
Yeah.
But,
Probably.
really, honestly, something like Comedy Central is probably going to be like a better place for it overall. But I mean, look, the reality, the likelihood of Fox cutting the show loose is probably pretty minimal. I would say that this might be a joke from Seth as a way to kind of, preempt a negotiation tactic, right? To kind of push Fox Core to give him a better deal for, re-upping the show for another couple seasons or something. Like, well, I could just leave and take it someplace else, and there would go a fair amount of your revenue stream.
I just don't understand why Tucker cares so much now. It's like Fox News and Family Guy have been on the same fucking under the same umbrella for the longest time. Ever since he started Family Guy, Fox News has been there. Like, I don't get what makes it so weird now. I get Tucker Carlson's egregious, but is he ultimately that much worse than someone like Bill O'Reilly? Really?
I mean, it's definitely it's appealing to a different audience, that's for sure.
Sure.
I would argue that, there's certain things where you can look the other way, but after what's happened in the last year, last 2 years, how more militant and radicalized Tucker has gotten, how we know that Tucker is like he doesn't believe a word of what he says.
He's gonna get kicked off Fox News eventually. I believe that.
I mean, he's pulling in better numbers than Sean Hannity at this point. So,
yeah,
and that's frightening. And that's frightening.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, like, Hannity at this point is coming out and saying, get the vax, get the vax, get the vax.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Wow. And Tucker's like, you don't know about the vaccine. You don't know what it could be. Is it just melted micro machines? You have no way of knowing.
That's the fucking thing. I don't think that they're going to want that type of branding. I think they're going to want, like, the traditional conservative, like Sean Hannity, to take back control of their network at some point. I don't think they're going to want this for the rest of eternity because it's dangerous. It's like playing with fire. Like, they're already getting sued, and they're waiting for more and more lawsuits the longer they have this fucking schmuck on their airwaves.
Well, I agree with you. I do agree with you on that one. I do think we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. But one of the reasons why I earlier mentioned Nerdrotic, because Nerdrotic, Gary, is very much a right-wing culture warrior. He is an anti-SJW, very much, at this point, definitely an SJW of his own, horseshoe
certified chud.
Certified chud's a great way. Did you know that Seth MacFarlane follows Nerdrotic? I can explain.
Okay.
I can explain. So the reason why Seth follows Gary is because Gary was very much pro Orville. And he's pro Orville because he's anti Star Trek. So Gary is put out a lot of pro Orville content. And as a result of that, Seth doesn't probably know just how abhorrent of a human being Nerdrotics is, but they had a sizable audience on YouTube that was getting some play. And so he invited him in 2019 to meet him at Comic-Con. And I know that happened. And so, I mean, I always thought that was kind of funny. So it goes to show you that really, if you're talking about your argument earlier about Seth, being around for so long, that doesn't mean he always pays attention.
So here's what I don't understand about this whole thing from Nerdrotic's perspective. Like, Seth MacFarlane's a liberal. He talks about how he's a liberal all the fucking time in his shows and in his personal life. He talks about it. It's very apparent where he lands politically. Now, I don't think he's like a far left or anything like that. He's probably just like center left, but that does not seem like the type of person that this Nerdrotics person would get along with. So, like,
well, there's a reason for that, and that, of course, has everything to do with access. If you remember during the whole Geeks and Gamers situation with Zack Snyder, they got really mad because Zack was access, and then Zack had to come out and, basically just disavow. And before then, like, Gary was on that live stream leading up to Zack's appearance. Why would a guy who's got 300,000 plus subscribers, who's like the biggest name in the fandom menace, also one of the worst culture warriors, why would he not want to be there when Zack came on? He left beforehand because I think at that point they knew that Gary couldn't be there with Zack because of the optics of how it would look. Even Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers wasn't there. And they were all talking about about Hollywood needs them because they control, an aspect of the culture. And that's a lot of it. is these guys, they claim to control an aspect of the culture that they have influence, and that influence can be wielded as power, and that they want Hollywood to reach out to them as tastemakers in order to validate their idiocy, lunacy, and bigotry.
Ugh.
In order to, again, make their pee-pee hard. That's really what it boils down to. What it really boils down to is that they are trying to force people to come to them. So by coming out and attacking Star Trek by propping up Orville, and you get the attention of Seth MacFarlane, who obviously wants his show to do well because he's a massive, massive Star Trek fan. And they got Brandon Braga, who was on, I think, Enterprise, as the exec producer and director of a bunch of episodes. So it has a very big Star Trek feel to it.
Yeah.
Obviously, any kind of, and I know other people, other YouTubers that have been pro Orville, who also were invited to the Orville experience at San Diego Comic-Con in 2019. So I know about that. I know that they were there. I know that they didn't get a chance to meet them, but they got to know the other producers on the show. And the producers on the show are really thankful that YouTubers are pushing Orville.
Do you think the chances are it's just like he saw someone with like a high number on their follower count, and he was like, wow, someone being supportive of my work, I'll give him a follow. And then he just did it, didn't think much of it. Probably. Yeah. That's probably what happened. Yeah.
That's probably about it. I don't know how much of it he follows, or I don't know how much time he spends on Twitter. But I think anyone from the Orville production staff that might look into that, anyone from the PR department or whatever, might look into it and just go, ooh, maybe not him. maybe we don't do that. But then again, if they distance themselves, then they're just going to go out there and claim, oh, Seth MacFarlane canceled us and fuck the Orville. And the same kind of crap that's going to happen.
Seth MacFarlane doesn't give a fuck about them.
No,
He's
they don't care.
Fucking smoking weed all day and chilling out.
Yeah, well, and also the Orville is going to be on Hulu. It's not going to be on NBC where you can, like, I don't know, not even they don't have enough power to yield any kind of actual boycott power.
Yeah.
But again, all of these people, right? They all come out and they say, "Oh, Masters of the Universe is woke garbage." Delete Netflix over cuties and all this other faux outrage nonsense. But yet they all watch it on day one. They all review it. They all talk about it. They've all wanted to cancel Disney Plus because of Gina Carano, but they're all talking about all of the Marvel shows. So clearly they're hypocrites, and clearly they're liars, and clearly they have no power. But I always thought that connection between them was kind of interesting. So maybe Seth is waking up. Maybe he's realizing that, he's going to mess with some of this stuff. And if he actually leaves Fox and he takes Family Guy someplace else, that's going to be really, really interesting. So if you guys are listening to this, I want to hear, where do you think he would take the show? Yeah, leave a comment below. Let me know in the chat right now, or call in 323-305-4101. I'm doing it. I'm pimping it. The 323-305-4101. And I thank you all very much for tuning into this part of the show.